Well, it's so exciting to see so many promotions today, and there's even more this afternoon. And one day, you, a new person here today, are going to have your chance to come across this stage. I'm going to tell you, it was 16 years ago, last month, 16 years ago, my partner George Zalicki and I started with ACN. So we're celebrating our 16th birthday with this company, and I couldn't be more proud of the decision we made to join ACN 16 years ago. I am forever indebted to my good friend Larry Raskin. Larry Raskin contacted me when he joined ACN when it was about a year-old company. He told me about a new opportunity with deregulation of telecom and how you could earn residual income for redirecting people's spending on their phone bills. I liked the concept, but a one-year-old company frightened me. I said, Larry, I'm not really looking for a new opportunity. The timing's not right. Keep me informed. Goodbye. And I never expected to hear from him about ACN again. Now, he called me the second year, the third year, 4 years. He called me for 5 years before I took a serious look at ACN. I called my good friend George Zalicki. I said, George, Larry's doing incredibly well with ACN. And the company's still in business after 5 years. They're now in their 6th year. They've gone into Canada. They've got plans to expand into Europe. They're launching a new product. George says, what is it? Dial-up internet. So now you could get paid when they log on. Remember dial-up internet? The computer would go beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. You remember that? The younger people, you don't know what we're talking about here. Okay? And so there was a way to get paid twice, when they made phone calls and when they went on the internet. So I now had a change in my life. I was a little concerned about the business I was in. I realized Larry had proven what was possible and that the owners of ACN had shown that they could run a successful organization, and they were now looking for international expansion, and they were looking to diversify their products. I am so humbled to get to know the co-founders of ACN. I am so proud to be able to work closely with them as George and I focused in the European markets. We traveled back and forth up to 10 times a year. I even relocated with my wife, our family, about 10 years ago in 2003, lived in the Netherlands for a couple of years while our kids went to the international schools. And all along the way, we've got to know all 4 co-founders. We've got to know how they work, and we learned about their motives. And I know something about Greg Provenzano. Above all, his motive is to do the right thing. And isn't that true? To do the right thing. And I know all the co-founders share those values. And why do you think they keep going at this business the way they do? They have all the success any of us could dream about or don't even dare to dream about. Obviously, what really motivates them is leaving a legacy of success for all of us. How do you feel about that? Now, I travel extensively for ACN. In the last 7 weeks, I've spent 4 of those weeks in the European markets, traveling to about 12 different countries. And all over the world, I've been telling people about the change in the economy, how there are new trends happening. ACN's identified those trends, positioned in front of those trends. And the timing couldn't be better for ACN. And I know for a lot of people, they say, well, that's a cliche statement, the timing couldn't be better. But I'm telling you, truthfully, I hope to document with my talk today that the timing couldn't be better for you and this opportunity in ACN. So my talk today is called Trends, Timing, Opportunity, and more importantly, you. I remember being you, the new person, 16 years ago in the audience, a much smaller arena, still a large group of people, and I was wondering, did I miss it? I waited 6 years. Is it over? The truth is, I made a good business decision. I told Larry if it was a good business today, it should be a better business tomorrow. And all of you are witness to the fact that ACN is a better business with better opportunity, And as I'm going to show you today, the timing could never be better in the history of economics and where the world is today with what the ASEAN opportunity can provide for all of us. And I want to challenge your paradigm, your thinking about what you think is normal. And this might be a sensitive subject. As I travel through Europe, and of course unemployment is an issue here, but it's a major issue in Europe. And they call it right now, the great economic recession going on in Europe. And some countries like Spain with 25% unemployment. And I go there to talk to them about ASEAN as a vehicle to make a little extra money part-time. I talk to them about career replacement income, and then I say, what about the idea that you could become a millionaire? And that really challenges some people's thinking. So I want to talk to you about the fastest growing minority in the world, millionaires. While the news is always talking about negativity, people struggling, people challenged on how to earn money, and the gap between the haves and the have-nots is growing. At the same time in history, more people are becoming incredibly wealthy, earning more money in one lifetime than had been earned in multiple generations combined. So there is opportunity. In fact, if you looked at the statistics, in the United States back in 1991, there were documented about 3.6 million millionaires. 10 years later, in 2001, it doubled to 7.2 million millionaires. 2011, we topped 10 million millionaires living in the United States, and it's projected in the next 10 years to top 20 million millionaires in the United States alone. That is a powerful trend. There's a similar trend happening in Europe, but the real question is, who are these people? Who becomes a millionaire? Now, I grew up in the state of Maine. I went to college for 2 years in the Boston area. I grew up in a big Italian-American family, and I had a great uncle that was a millionaire. He started one restaurant, then he started another restaurant. He built a chain of restaurants from Maine to Florida, 39 restaurants with him, my great-uncle Don, and my grandfather. And I always wondered, when can I meet my Uncle Don? And I remember he came to the house one day. He gave my mother a car because we had a lot of children. And I was like, is that Uncle Don? He's a millionaire? And I remember I embarrassed my mother. I said, Uncle Don, do you know how much money you have exactly? I swear, my mother was very embarrassed. I didn't know any better. I was a little kid. So I was always having this idea of, what is this idea of a millionaire? Are they mythical people? Are they real? And who can actually become a millionaire? Now, I've had the great fortune to have a lot of good mentors. One of my mentors is Paul Zane Pilzer. He's a world-renowned economist. He's been an advisor to 2 U.S. White House presidents. He's been an advisor right now to the Premier of China. He's dined with kings and queens. And a year ago, October, he spoke for us in Cologne, Germany. I had a pleasure of spending time with him. I actually had met him maybe 15 years prior, or 17 years prior. I read his book called Unlimited Wealth, and he really brought up this subject of millionaires and did a brilliant job. So I want to share with you what he talked about. He said in the Forbes 400 list, he and his graduate students, where he's a professor at NYU University, they study such things as millionaires in the Forbes 400 list. In 1981, they started publishing this list of the wealthiest Americans, and they called it the Forbes 400. And as they studied the list, they noticed most of the names on the list came from generational wealth. The Fords, the Astors, the Carnegies, okay, all of these people, the Rockefellers, had generated wealth over years and years, decades and decades of generations. But by 2012, when they studied the newest list, only 40 of those families still appeared on the list. One question is, what happened to all that wealth? But a better question, who has replaced those people on the list? So really, who are they? And how did they become so wealthy? The question came up, is it nature? The gene pool, they were just born to the right family. They got a special brain. Or was it nurture? Exposure to opportunity of the right schooling? Well, here's what's interesting. In 2012, the top 10 income earners, the top 10 wealthiest people in America, here's something interesting. or all 10 were born to a poor or middle-class family. So there can be no excuse, well, I was born poor. I came from a middle-class family. I have no chance. Think about that. And listen to this. 9 out of 10 never even went to college or finished college. Now, this is sensitive. And I understand this is sensitive because I'm actually out here with my wife and daughter. My daughter is 17, getting ready to go to university. We have one son, a sophomore in college. And I want them to get the best education they can so they have the best chance in life. But really, is it a good formal education that's going to determine their financial success, or is it something else? Well, as you start to realize and study these people, Mr. Pilzer pointed out that yes, the family you're born to could be about an 8% factor. Maybe 8% is the other factor for your exposure to education or opportunity. But overwhelmingly, as they interviewed and got to know millionaire after millionaire after millionaire, every single one universally can point to a point in their life, a time, maybe a dream, a meeting, a conversation, maybe even to an event in San Jose, California that you attended for the first time, where all of a sudden, something in your mind clicked and you made a clear choice that this is it, and you are not just going to make a little extra income, you weren't going to just make career replacement income, but you were going to take it all the way and become a millionaire in ACN. That's what happens. It was a choice. The people that hit that top 10 made a choice. They let go of the excuses. They didn't listen to what everybody else was saying. They blocked out the noise, the prison that they had held themselves in terms of what their potential was, those limiting self-beliefs. They smashed through it and said, you know what, if someone else has done it, I can do it. Look, I've been in ACN a long time. I have been so blessed, gifted, mentored, coached, and I have gone on to become one of those millionaires. I wasn't the first in ACN, and I'm telling you, I will not be the last. You can do it. Now, choice, how about education? Recently on NBC, on the Today Show, I had to stop and record and rewind and write down these statistics. As a parent wanting my children to go to college, and many of you are younger, maybe you have a newborn. Do you know what it's going to cost to put your kids in school? The statistics said $463 a month for 18 years you would need to save every month at a 6% modest inflation rate if you want to pay for a public education and not leave your children with this huge college debt, which there's all kinds of news things you can look up on Google about, college debt and how it's strapping college students up into their 30s. It's crushing them with the debt. So we, because of ACN, thankfully, were able to save all the money we needed at a college fund years before they even got to college, so their college education was paid for. Now, we have a lot of toys. We have all the fun stuff that you would imagine from success. But I'll tell you, the one thing my wife said to me one day is, I'm so proud of you. And I said, what? She says, because you've been able to create this wealth that actually helped put our kids' education, put our children into college and have it completely paid for. That was the thing that impressed her, not the big house or the Maserati. The fact that we could actually take care of that, because I know her family and where she grew up, that was not the case. So this meant something. Okay, if you want to send them to a private college, you need to save over $1,000 a month. Who can do this today? We're struggling to pay bills. A public education can be over $17,000 a year, private $39,000. It's amazing when you think about it. Jim Rohn, one of my mentors, said something phenomenal. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Companies today, corporations today, they don't invest in the employees the way they used to. They used to know you'd come out of school, work for them for 30 or 40 years. That's why they would give you benefits in retirement. They don't do that anymore. Network marketing is specifically ACN. What they do more than anything, and what these events are all about, and why the owners invest their time and energies to put these huge events on is because they want to invest in us. Do you realize that money? Yeah, we spend money. We have to take time from our jobs and family to come here. But this is the investment the owners are giving to us to build an environment for winning, to help make sure you can block out all the distractions, the minutia, all the negative talk that's out there, so that you can learn to do something really that's so simple and logical. 20 core services? Is that difficult? And introduce 3 people that are looking for opportunity, and then do it again if you want to become a senior vice president? This really makes so much sense. Just think about what's happening today. Just pull up the news. Large companies are being dismantled. There used to be 10,000 and 20,000 person corporations. They're not needed anymore. The experts are looking at robotics and technology, and as the technology evolves, they're reducing the transaction cost, the cost of moving the product from manufacturer to the end user. So as technology evolved with automobiles and other things like that, they lowered the cost and made family fortunes. Today, the real opportunities are in distribution. Unemployment is affected by robotics and technology. And I've had people say to me, just like you, well, I need to have my job because I need the benefits. I want the benefits. You heard that before? Oh, I need the benefits. Well, look at this statistic. Retirement and health care benefits. In 1993, 40% of companies with 500 or more employees provided insurance to their retired Medicare-eligible former employees in the United States. 2011, only 16% do that. So those benefits are false. They're not what you think. In fact, if you watch 60 Minutes recently, I saw a 60-minute show on robotics. They were showing these warehouses where technology and these little flat robots that look sort of like a stair step that you'd see at a gym in a stair step class, they don't even look like a robot, but they run this huge warehouse with 100 employees and 69 robots that replaced your jobs. And the MIT professor they interviewed, Andrew McAfee, he's the associate director of Center of Digital Business on the 60 Minutes show, said, our economy is bigger than it was before the start of the Great Recession. Corporate profits are back. Business investment in hardware and software is back, higher than it's ever been. What's not back is the jobs. He went on to say, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, all public companies have close to $1 trillion market capitalization combined, but together, all 4 of them employ fewer than 150,000 employees, which is less than the total number of entrants into the American workforce every month. My point is this: wake up. Wake up. You know, we talk to people about home business, direct selling. We run into misinformed and uninformed people. You are going to do that if you join this business. Be prepared. And we talk to them like they have a choice. I believe they don't have a choice. You know, I had an interesting dinner last night with a gentleman who's here today. He's a friend I met through Larry Raskin. He's a professor at Stanford University. Teaches selling through curiosity. Very wealthy guy. Very successful man, brilliant, good friend. And another gentleman was there, multi-millionaire. Been guest on the Oprah show many times, sold companies for multiple millions, created, you know, a true entrepreneur, all kinds of industries. And he is a rep in ACN, not an owner, a rep. And I sat with them last night, and we just discussed big picture things. And the conversation for me was so stimulating and validating to this talk I'm doing today. They're saying economically, everything's changed. Where opportunities are is changing. And yet here is home-based business. Here is network marketing. And universally, we came back to the agreement that this is a real solution for real people. In fact, the gentleman that had been on Oprah and had successful books and started TV shows and all these companies, he says to me, I said, you know, Virgil, why are you in this business? He says, Artie, he says, I absolutely believe, and I'm part of a think tank with 5 billionaires. I said, really? He says, I absolutely believe within 10 years, this will be the accepted form of marketing and distribution in the world. and you're in that industry. You know, I talk to the co-founders often about the real value of my position. It's so amazing. And to be a senior vice president in ACN, to be here 16 years, to having a phenomenal first 20 years, but more importantly, to see the next 20 is many times bigger than anything we've ever done. It's not even about the money. It's about lifestyle. Lifestyle, choices, flexibility, income diversification. Even greater income potential than a traditional job. And you've always heard today about residual income versus linear income. You can build an asset. Paul Zane Pilzer said, you will never be wealthy, never have wealth in your life if you don't find a way to get paid today for something you did yesterday. You'll never have wealth. You'll be chasing the next paycheck, chasing the next job, competing with people who are younger, who could take your job, who have better skill sets that could take your job. No boss is calling you in the office and say, how do I help you get a pay raise? How do I help you get a promotion? Yet the person who invited you here is willing to be your partner, your mentor, and even work for you. You take a step, they should take two, but you got to take the step. And so we have a unique opportunity where if you help enough other people get what they want, you will get what you want. And technology is changing so much about what we do in our business. The home business entrepreneur has more power because of technology, and that's the reason they don't need the big companies where they could afford the huge computers before and had more technology and more advanced systems to grow their companies. The small business has all the flexibility. Look at how technology changed our lives and our world. Radio, it took 38 years before there were 50 million users. Television, 13 years to hit 50 million. Internet, 4 years to hit 50 million. iPods, 3 years to hit 50 million. I remember my son saying, Dad, can I get an iPod for Christmas? I said, why do you need that? I have a Walkman. Now, I come from the music industry, so I'm going to tell you, I had vinyl records, and my children have never seen a phonograph player. They've never seen a record player. I got them on the wall in my office, and they say, you recorded records, Dad? Yeah. They said, well, how do you fit it in the CD player? Technology has changed. MySpace, the first social network I'm aware of, is about 200 million users today, while Facebook added more than 200 million last year alone. And now in internet-capable devices, we're approximately 1 million or a little under in 1992. Now we're over 1 billion internet-connected devices, and we get paid to connect and network the world. What a great business to be in, but ACN, come on. Technology is affecting this industry. I have more than 2 decades experience traveling around the world teaching people about home-based business. I had to deal with those misinformed and uninformed people. But I knew back then, if I wanted to introduce somebody across the country or somebody across the ocean, I had to package a videotape and mail it across the ocean. Now you can go to a website. You can click on your YBA marketing tools and use those tools to introduce with video emails. You have the endorsement of a multi-billionaire like Donald Trump. See, direct selling is not a new concept, guys. It's a 150-year-old marketing concept with home party methods. It wasn't quite multi-level at that time, but as the direct selling industry has evolved, the pay plans have evolved, the companies, the product lines. In 2010, it was 125 billion global production in 150 countries. By 2011, it hit 154 billion. Do you spot a trend? I started tracking this in 1993. I've been in the industry since '89. 14.9 million people was the statistic I had back then. It's now over 92 million people in the industry. You're in the right place. What is this we really do? We replace the cost of advertising and television, radio. We have a more effective marketing, and that's word of mouth, one-to-one. See, shifting paradigms are a set of common thoughts, what we accept is real and normal. Shifting a paradigm or educating someone about a new product or new service or a better way to earn through residual income doesn't happen on TV anymore. Something challenges our viewpoint, click. On a website, it challenges our thoughts, click. Microwave society, click, 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 click. So it's really to challenge someone's thinking, it's still face-to-face, in living rooms, yes, one-on-ones, two-on-ones. That's how this has to happen and will continue to happen into the future. It's that circle of trust you build that grows to another circle of trust, that grows to another, that can grow into hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of partners. But you have to shift your paradigm to understand this, and you have to be okay with many people not understanding you. There really is a distribution revolution going on in how products move to the end users. Just watch the news. Manufacturing was where the original wealth came from for the Forbes 400 list. Now it's being replaced from people in distribution. Sam Walton was the richest person in the world, never was into manufacturing, he was into distribution. In fact, if you don't buy distribution is where the money is today, consider this. The heirs to the Sam Walton family are worth 5 times the money that Bill Gates is today. Distribution. Fred Smith had an idea. He called it the hub and spoke theory of distribution. He said, we'll start something called Federal Express. People will pay a premium. People said, you're crazy, Fred. We already have the post office. Ross Perot, he took information, didn't even move product, just shared and moved information with his company, EDS, became wealthy. Jeff Bezos at Amazon. There's a show that just was on last week. It's a very cool show. Jeff, what he was talking about is using robotics and airlifting your package within 30 minutes to your home. Now, he says it's not ready yet, but they showed a demonstration. It seemed crazy. But they want to be able to get the product to the consumer faster than anybody else. They have 96 warehouses the size of 20 football fields all over, and they want to be able to distribute those products. See, he's about breaking the paradigm. And when you look at ASEAN's evolving, adding all these products and services, like in Europe, we just added a wellness product line. Going into Latin America, we're going to be adjusting our model because not all countries are fully deregulated with telecom or energy. They're not matured yet. And what we're able to do is still provide a distribution opportunity. I've never been in the telecom business with ASEAN. I've never been in energy. I've been teaching this is distribution. You have an online shop, and we're going to distribute all kinds of products, and good brands evolve. Mr. Bill Banham, who was a former president of Virgin Records, become a friend of mine. We did a conference call together, and he pointed out something great. He said, just looking at McDonald's, formed in 1940, by 1968, the Big Mac came out. 20 years later, they had a hit. 1972, they had McMuffin, but by 1979, when they introduced the Chicken McNugget, they had stores all over the world, right? Overnight, they became the largest chicken distributor in the world. Now, you starting today, you start to build your team. It's a little team moving a few products. What happens when we add a new product to your store? The value of your distributorship just went up. Everything they're doing is adding value to the business that you purchased and started as they add new products and new opportunities. Distribution, finding a better way to get the product to the end user, is where the big incomes are made. And ASEAN has been on the cutting edge for years. First of all, you have a chance to start a home business in an economy where people have no choice. They need a way to start something that can create assets, and more importantly than the money, for a lifestyle, for freedom, for choice, not to have the boss, not to be told when to go to lunch, not to be told when you take your vacation. You know, for freedom of your life. And that's so valuable, having that freedom, to be able to be out here with my wife and daughter, take a couple extra days to go visit colleges, to take Monday to go look at sightseeing around San Francisco because we can. That is powerful. ASEAN is giving us a way to create an asset, online shops, like a pipeline, like the Alaskan pipeline, petroleum flowing down, all the way down. And what happens is that petroleum flows through, all the way through. Everybody that owns the land all the way down to the 48 states gets a fee every month. So ASEAN plugs an opportunity into the top. And that opportunity flows by you, and you can get paid by putting in a faucet. You turn the faucet by getting some customers. 20 core customers, you can get all the profit. You want more income? You want to see more petroleum and more ASEAN opportunity flow by you? Put junctions in to the pipes, new reps, IBO, 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 and all that flows by you and you profit again and again and again. Add more opportunity, plug more pipes, more opportunity, more profits, better lifestyle. Telecom deregulation was just the beginning, and I respect the owners for identifying those trends. Analog to digital, they saw it coming. They invested in switching the United States, Asia Pacific, and Europe so that we could be on the cutting edge with digital service, digital video. It even allowed us to be on the Celebrity Apprentice twice. Powerful. Energy deregulation. Wow, those states that have energy, you know you're excited. What a better way to earn money than people turning on the lights, cooking a meal. To imagine that this was possible back when I started and dial-up internet was being introduced, I would have said, come on, Larry, you're crazy. But it's real, and it's going to continue to evolve. Maybe we'd like to see it faster all over the states, but not all states are ready for us. But we will continue to evolve. ASEAN will continue to put in opportunity into the pipeline. E-commerce, as we added so many products, we needed a better way, a simpler way to educate customers and to educate our reps. Online shop is brilliant. It gives us a great shopping experience. The company's always evolving, improving that shopping experience. And e-commerce, obviously, is something we all are involved in today. Everybody buys things online. Just look at what happened on Cyber Monday. Merchant services. Well, I am so excited about it. I'm happy for America since July. The Canadians just got it. Where I do a lot of business in Europe, it's starting in the first quarter of 2014. Who would imagine you can get paid every time someone used a credit card? This is an evolving industry that's never been really tackled by the direct selling world. We're a pioneer into something that's never been done before, and more importantly, it's attractive to business people. The business owners. Talking to Pat and Mike Mazur about this, we've never seen so many business owners walking through our businesses. Isn't that unbelievable what we're seeing? It's so powerful. And global expansion, any of you were at that meeting last night for the Latino pre-launch? I'm telling you, the plans that they have for Latin America are unprecedented. It is going to be unbelievable. What we've done in 20 years, I believe we can grow 10 or 20 times in the next 5 years, not 1 or 2 times. And all of us are in position to spread the word. I'm just going to close with Jeff Bezos. I read an article, my sister Christina gave me an article. She's a partner with mine in business, along with my brother Stephen. They're doing a great job in the opportunity. And she gave me an article from Jeff Bezos. And as I read the article, he said, everything we've ever done, we wanted to challenge people's thinking. They challenged the paradigm of how business is done. We came up with the idea of customer reviews on the website. And people said, oh, Jeff, that's a bad idea. Oh, third-party selling, reselling other people's services, bad idea. Personalization, bad idea. In 1994, remember this? 1994, typing your credit card online was a bad idea. Okay? Every single idea that is new tends to be a bad idea. I love this quote. Willingness to be misunderstood is one of our greatest strengths. And I'm going to tell you this. You're going to join ASEAN. You're in ASEAN if you're here today. You're going to talk to family, friends, and believe me, you're going to be misunderstood at some point. The timing may not be right. Their mindset may not be right. But the ability for you to accept and be okay with the fact you'll be misunderstood is absolutely the difference between making a little extra money, between making full-time income, or even becoming a millionaire. See, when I started in this industry, my wife and I have been together for many years, married over 20 years. And when I first started, I was 29 years old, looking at this industry because we wanted to start a family, and I wasn't broke, I was below broke. She'll tell you, we had a rust hole through the floor of my car. I couldn't get a credit card, didn't even have a bank account. In fact, this was us when we started in the industry. Now, if you're confused, I'm the one in the blue shirt, okay? I actually was in a rock band. I'm the guy in that far over there. See that Bon Jovi hair? And your life can change, absolutely change. As Tony Robbins says, your past does not equal the future. Look what my future turned out to be. Is that my favorite picture in all of ASEAN is right there. I even had a chance to reform my rock band after we moved back from Europe, and I took the band to Europe in 2007, 2008. I paid for everything. It cost me a lot of money, but did I care? No, it was lifestyle and a dream come true. I played arenas in Europe. It was awesome. And again, because of ACN, our story, George, myself, our family stories has been told in magazines like Success from Home. And again, I'm not saying this to say, look how good I am, because you know what? We're not that good alone. I go all over the world. They give you all this edification. They expect me to fly over the audience with an S on my chest. You know, SVP. You know, the truth is, we just attracted a lot of great people. We identified trends. The timing was right. We teamed up with the right company, the right owners who cared about building us as people. They provided an environment to win. They have not stopped providing better opportunities, better ways to win. And I'm telling you, you need to take ACN more serious than you ever did in your life. This is the weekend many of you need to finally make the choice that a little extra money isn't good enough, full-time income isn't good enough. I want it all. I'm going SVP, and I'd like to join you at the top. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thank you.